the power of the dark side. Radio.
Welcome into the Upstate Pulse. My name is Lonzo. It is a beautiful but cold Saturday, and we're so glad that you are here with us for the next 2 hours. We're just going to be, dude, it's already been weird, and we ain't even started, so I guarantee you it's going to be weird for 2 hours.
Let's get weird.
We're hoping to bring Matthew into our weirdness and also participate, and we want you to be a part of our weirdness also. And you can do that by texting us at our new text line, 800-905-0989. Yeah, that's the same number you used to call in, except not on this show because y'all drunk. But you can drunk text. That's okay as long as you're not driving, because you should not be driving and drinking. But if you're at home and it's cold and you're drunk, you can still text us, 800-905-0989. We are also live on YouTube, Facebook, and what's the other one? Oh, yeah, Twitch at either 98.9 WRD or the Upstate Pulse. I want to remind you that if you are commenting on our personal pages, some people in the room can see it. I can't because I just I just don't have that screen up. I don't. For the next 2 hours, we got a lot of fun planned, and like I said, a bunch of weirdness. If you are looking at us, including Chris, who's already on the stream, and Mark's there, I would like to know which Southern rock band should I join? Because I mean, look at me. I look like I'm in Leonard Skinner, or I don't know, one of those bands. I'm definitely looking like I should be in one of them right now. Allman Brothers, maybe. I don't know.
Hootie and the Blowfish?
No, I said Southern rock.
Marshall Tucker.
Marshall Tucker. I listen. They're from this area. I can pull off some Marshall Tucker. Cameron's actually been to a Marshall Tucker concert.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
yes.
it was interesting. So I mean, the flutist, that dude was wicked.
Yes,
I don't think he's with us anymore. He could play anything. That guy could play anything.
Yes.
Creedence. There you go. Creedence Clearwater.
Dude, are any of them still alive? Probably not. But you know what?
I could
take their place.
Well, if you could resurrect any band.
Well, here we go. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
No,
you could be the new Tom Petty.
I said Southern rock.
He's Southern.
Also, I probably would fit in pretty well with the Doobie Brothers because they had like 10,000 members in that band.
They
I mean,
wouldn't even know you were there.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Dave says Mumford and Sons. Yeah, I could probably. I don't know. Yeah, I could do that music. I don't think they have a lot of organ in there though, because I would have to play the organ.
But they could.
Yeah, you're right. You're daggone right.
Just because something doesn't have something.
Yeah, Chris, I'm already in Rob's hat, but when Purvis is in jail, I got to find something else to do.
Purvis is always in jail.
And also Rob of Rob's hat is always busy. That's why we don't play anywhere, because he's got a thing almost always.
What about the Eagles? Would you join the Eagles?
Oh, who wouldn't want to join the Eagles? You wouldn't want to join the Eagles. By the way, let me introduce the stars of the show, starting with the silent one, Matthew Causey. Like how you did that extra part. Texture says, Molly Hatchet, I am flirting with disaster today. Trust me. Or anytime you're in the same room with Odie. Cameron is here. Cameron is here.
No, we talked about this.
Stop it.
We talked about this.
You talked about it. I didn't listen about it.
We already got other music.
Yes, yeah, you did. Stop with the country, man. What are you doing?
This is not a country show.
He looks country, though.
He does not.
No,
if anyone looks that way, it would be me, and he does not.
Also, the most country person in this room is you, Odie.
Tell you what.
Exactly.
All right, Chris on the stream, you're gonna cause me to be violent by saying REO Speedwagon.
Listen, I cannot hear or read REO Speedwagon without thinking of the JoJo's English way of REO Speedwagon.
That's probably the best thing in the world right there.
I love JoJo's. It's so good. Please watch JoJo's. Watch or read JoJo's. It's amazing. But I literally had a conversation with my friend's father, who was painting our ceiling in our downstairs because if
Sistine Chapel,
like Michelangelo.
No, if there isn't a home project that he can do at his house, it's coming to our house. He's always got to be doing some home project, but I mean, if it's beneficial to us,
all I want to say, when he gets done over there,
Yeah.
I got some stuff.
Send him
But
Anderson.
we were having a conversation about old music because he kept asking me, "Hey, do you know what this is?" I'm like, "I've heard it before. I don't know anything about it." But he
The one
mentioned
guy you
REO
should not be
Speedwagon,
asking, yeah?
and I had to hold myself back
Why?
consciously
You should have did
from
it.
immediately as soon as I heard REO Speedwagon reciting it in JoJo's English style because it is ingrained in my mind so much.
But yeah, by the way, Odie's here.
That was it.
There we go. That's
Yeah.
that's about as impactful as his bowels today.
Yeah, mine have been very. It's been a day.
Chris on the stream says, "How about a funk band?" Yeah, I mean, the Funkadelics, something like I could do that because I could dress really cool and try to walk around on those stacks. I'm not sure I could do that or not, but
You
I'd
could do
try it.
I could teach you.
Could you?
I
Okay.
used to be in a funk band.
Odie, they have stacks in Ireland.
I don't know what stacks are.
It's what Gene Simmons and those guys wear.
Oh, the
Platforms,
platforms.
yeah.
Yeah.
But stacks are stacks. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about stacks or shoes.
Her?
Any girl that just happens to be walking by and is well endowed.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. No.
I'm surprised you didn't
How
go
did
there.
that go over your head?
I know that's really weird.
Listen,
was right up their alley.
Listen.
That was your bailiwick.
As
Yes,
you know, today,
yes.
as you've been talking, I've mentioned it a couple of times that I've spent most of my day in the smallest room in the house. It hasn't been fun. Therefore, I'm drained.
Wow. Why is it so small? I mean,
Smallest room in the house.
Just start singing some Nirvana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texter says, I'm flirting with disaster whenever I drink
Terrible.
milk because I'm lactose intolerant.
See,
Well
there,
done.
He gets it.
Well done. Are you?
That's not flirting with disaster. That's farting with disaster.
Good
night, everybody.
We're done.
We're out of here. We are out. Nope.
No?
Scatological references are not supposed to happen, including sound effects.
Scat what?
Yeah, exactly.
Scatman Crothers?
Yes. Yes, he had The Shining and could also scat. That's why he's a scat. They have scat in Ireland. I think I've asked that before, but
No.
no scatting
No
in
one
Ireland.
mentioned an
Okay.
urn.
Oh, there we go. Parliament. There we go, Chris. I would love to be in Parliament.
No, we didn't have scatting. We had
I might have to stay out in the sun a little bit.
Is
though.
that a band or
Yeah.
is that like an actual
Yeah, look up-
governing body?
Look up Parliament.
I've probably heard them.
Yeah,
haven't I?
make sure you put band, or you're just going to get something
It's
from
just gonna
some
be
pasty
I mean-
guys from Britain.
I was gonna say, why are we
Parliament.
talking about
We're here
the
to
British
tax the
Parliament
poor.
system?
big bad parliament.
You're talking about a band named Parliament. I see.
All right, on today's show, we are going to be talking about video game movies. We've got a wonderful oops, and I love my title. And once we talk about the oops, if you look at the title, you'll understand what it is. Also, Nerd Roundtable with a wonderful question in Nerd Roundtable. First of all, I would like to ask how everyone did with Snowmageddon 2025.
I played video games and I ate food.
As I told
I
Odie,
worked.
yeah, Odie's like, what are we going to do? What are our plans for tomorrow night being tonight? And I was like, well, let's wait and see what happens, because weather events around here, people get really excited.
They
They get downright orgasmic about it. And the thing is, I mean, it's just like, this model says this, this model says this, this model says this, and it's somewhere in between, and sometimes just not at all.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I
like-
mean, there was some pretty snow for a little
Mhm.
while, then unfortunately, it changed to freezing rain and to ice, which is the worst thing you want to
Yeah.
see.
Like most things, we started with wonder and ended in disappointment.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. I've had that my whole life. Somebody said it to me on Monday, like, we're going to get a lot of snow and everything is going to shut down.
I should never have given
should
him
get rid
the
of that
gong.
button.
Yes, but it's fine. He's got it now.
My
So I
button.
mean, yeah. Dave says, I need opinions from the hive mind. If you agree with me, you are correct. Otherwise, you are wrong and should hang your head in shame. Absolutely, that's how it works.
What's the opinion?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
That's the whole point. Scott says, evening guys, a week or so ago, online sources declared 2024 was one of the worst years for AAA gaming in a decade, with multiple games costing 100 million plus failing hard, thousands of layoffs from developers, and numerous companies shutting down completely. Reasons attributed range from injection of politics into titles, incomplete games upon release, and online service play only, but all result in players not buying new titles. Instead, it was observed that players are switching to AA and indie titles.
I mean, that's kind of been a thing for years at this point.
Yeah, I don't know that the industry lost enough money to not keep on growing because the big games made money. The really big games that came out. I mean, there are games that we played that made a lot of money, and then there's some that I didn't play, but they made a lot of money. I mean,
The biggest thing this year was just the sheer number of layoffs that we saw this year.
we did.
But I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
I think a lot of that just comes down to company mismanagement as opposed to anything else. Like with Bungie, they overextended a whole bunch and ended up having to lay off a bunch of people.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about some of that stuff later on when we talk video games. Chris says I've been playing some Baldur's Gate 3. Are you playing on console or are you playing on computer or are you playing on both?
Are you playing
Because
as
I
Dark
played on
Urge?
both. Yes. If you don't know what Dark Urge is, by the way, you don't have to play as the dragon. What's it called?
Dragonborn.
Dragonborn. Yeah.
If
But they're
someone
the best and you should.
if someone's playing on PC, is it PC or Apple device that they're playing on?
It
If
could
you're
be
pl-
either.
It can be either. I think that Baldur's Gate 3 runs on Mac computers as well. But
Okay.
when people are referring to PC, they're referring to just
Just
computers in
You're not
general.
playing on console, you're playing on computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was curious as to whether it was a Mac or a Windows product.
All right, so glad, or I hope, I believe, I'm not going to assume that everyone weathered the storm okay. At least the 4 people in this room did.
Mhm.
And we'll await the next one if there is one this year. And hopefully it will be as pretty much uneventful as this one was. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I've got a question for everyone in this room and everyone on, because that's how these shows work. You either make a statement or you ask a question. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask a question. I can't even repeat what I just did. Question. There we go. How many questions do you have?
Oh.
You are listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of questions.
You sound like a halfling I know.
Question.
one of your friends is a Linux user. Oh boy, oh boy.
All right, so PC multiplayer. Okay, Chris. Linux. It's a system, right? Or is-
Linux is an operating system.
Yeah.
That's the operating system that I was complaining about in my class this past semester, and that I'm now going into the advanced class for this semester.
Okay, are you learning how to write on stuff on Linux?
I'm
or what are
learning
you-
how to run the operating system and how to manage servers and
Okay.
different things through Linux.
So what you're saying is you don't want to see Linux.
Well, Matthew's not going to be with us forever. He's just going to be rich or going somewhere else. By the way, when that happens, feel free to come in and hang out anyway, if you want.
I was
Yeah.
about- I
It'll be
was about to say,
slumming, but you know.
Just come in and wave $100 bills in our face.
No, sometimes you come in and go, I don't have to work here anymore. I mean, you know, the people do that sometimes. Not
Matthew-
here. It's a wonderful place to work. Love it here. I've been here
Matthew with
25
his head
years.
Tilted his nose up to the
Wonderful
sky. He's like,
time.
I remember this place.
I remember this place
I'm trying to
before I
decide-
made money.
I'm trying to decide if we should talk about the broken in the room or not. Because I find it funny.
What?
The broken.
You haven't seen it?
You can't, it's dark. You can't see it. Let's not.
Oh,
you still won't be able to
we
see
won't be
it.
able to see it.
Unless
I-
maybe you shine a light on it or something.
That's probably not a good idea.
What happened?
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of funny. They picked the one person, if it was intentional,
I don't
that
think
they
it's-
should not do that to. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Pick the worst fight.
Is this
I-
in?
I make my choices. I don't care what you guys say. Probably not going to, but I'm, you know.
what is it, Creature Commandos or something?
Give me a second.
There be much
We will be talking Creature Commandos eventually, or that is the plan because the final episode of that this season happened.
Okay.
And I don't know if I'm happy
Linux
about something or
administrator
not.
salary is not that much, Viper Dave.
You look more like Kermit the Frog as a Jedi. I don't know why. You just do.
Hi ho, Kermit the Jedi here, coming live from News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Muppets. Yeah!
The yay was very convincing.
Was the yay
It's-
convincing?
I really like that. I don't. It's kind of risky in your condition though.
I know. I just puckered up.
Fortify yourself,
Who
Odie.
is ugly Gandalf? No, he's
Don't do that to him.
He's Jedi Kermit. Now he's gonna talk like Gandalf. Way to go.
I feel like he's about to drop a hot bunch of bars.
You
That's what
have
he's
a
about
dash
to
to
do.
do.
Do you have any spaghetti like thrown up on your arm, or
Mom's biscotti.
are you about to insult Anthony Mackie?
What did Eminem insult Anthony Mackie?
Yeah, he was in that movie.
Oh, okay. I never saw the movie, so
Oh, okay.
There'll be much
Not worried about
mistletoeing and everyone.
Christmas is over, man.
So,
Unless you carry Christmas in your heart, but I don't know that. I don't think you do. So
You know, I carry a lot of stuff. Christmas is not one of them. I'm cold for some reason, and I don't know why.
I'm about to sweat.
Probably because I'm empty.
Probably, yeah. Or it's more viral than it is
No,
food.
no.
In which case, you brought it into the building. Way to go, Satan!
That's what I figured.
It's not.
also, I was tuned out for that. What?
Odie is feeling cold.
It is chilly.
It is.
Well, I'm 5.5 pounds lighter than I was this time last week. So
Way to go, you!
That's probably what
You
it
know,
is
that's-
too.
Can you purge the other way? I don't. Can you? I don't know. Okay, is it possible? I mean, I'm not sure how
Not to
if
go
you, could
deep.
if you have that kind of
Okay,
bowel control.
I'm going to say this. From yesterday, I'm 5 pounds lighter. I'm probably about 7 or 8 now.
Okay,
Today.
all right.
Going on a super diet.
I think it's less of what's going in and more what's coming out.
Welcome back into the Upstate Pulse. Lonzo here, along with Odie and Cameron and Matthew. You know what? I'm going to let that go because I know you're sick. Here's the thing. If you let that music go, the beat hit right on the perfect spot.
Did you?
And the way that music was, I think that this music would have meshed with that one
It would have.
and no one would have noticed.
No.
But the fact that you turned it off right away, that made it a little obvious. I'm going to let it go, though.
I'm just going to say that today there'll probably be a lot. You know,
Are you going to break the
Are you
record?
going to break the record, please?
the record that Lonzo set down of
Like,
6.
I did not.
No, that's your
No,
record.
no,
of
that's your
6.
record.
I
It's
did
not
do
mine.
6.
I've only did 5. You
Look,
did 6.
You have a sexta new.
Yes. We all know.
Listen, that's
We all know.
illegal in about 4 or 5 different states, but you know,
But not here.
But not South Carolina. Exactly.
Okay.
Wow.
And here's what counts.
All right. As I was perusing the internets today, looking for show prep,
Told you about that.
I was but it's okay. It was
Yeah.
in the comfort of my own home. Speaking of comfort,
Yeah.
one of the things that I saw that caught my eye, that I read the article, I was like, that article is not really that important. But the question is, what is your go-to comfort TV genre? So let's say you're Odie and you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
And you don't feel like playing a game. You don't feel like going hunting, fishing. You've been in the bathroom a lot.
Mm.
So you just turn on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
You're flipping through the channels. What do you stop on? What makes you, is there a certain genre of movie or TV that just makes you feel comfortable when you're not so much feeling
I
comfortable?
can answer that perfectly because that is exactly what I did today. And the show in question was How I Met Your Mother.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I love that show.
Yeah,
That's mine too.
Yeah, he's cultic.
I love
with
that
that,
show.
and
I am not cultic.
so is Rob Brown from the Rob Brown Show. So
Yeah.
is my daughter.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I
I've
get it.
watched it, but it just maybe it's because of age and
Did
everything.
it click with you, old man?
No, I mean I liked it. I thought Barney was amazing,
Sure.
but I mean best character on the entire thing.
Please.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean Maria Hill was all right.
No, no.
and,
well,
and the girl from Bandcamp and from Buffy, she was all right.
Maria?
Yeah.
Gee,
no.
But
I seriously
but
thought
the-
something was coming through on the board.
that was
there for a
amazing. It
second.
was amazing. But the guy who sang I Am a Muppet, he is all right too.
Shadow, get in the box.
Yeah, so it was good.
No, I liked.
Did you see how he perked up when you said it?
Mm.
That's on the edge of some Duke's mayonnaise type
Look,
of love.
no, don't you dare. Don't you dare insinuate that about me.
some slight arousal there. Like
It was he
Always. But
his posture suddenly was like,
no, it was surprised. 'cause
my
I didn't-
man, my guy,
did not
that's
ex-
my damn.
I did not expect Odie to be into that.
That's a
I
major.
don't know why.
That's
but
a major surprise right there. Major.
All right, I gotta say, I'm a
How
little.
did you not do that? Seriously,
No,
how
I,
could
I
you not?
said it with you.
But by the way,
Cameron
didn't-
jumped up at you mentioning How I Met Your Mother like I jumped up at mentioning of a dead child.
Berea. All right.
I'm so
Why are
Yes,
we bringing
it was
this back?
it was a video game movie.
Video
thing.
game movie.
All right.
From
So
Sonic 3.
yeah.
So by the way, text line 800-905-0989. I know I said whatever.
Oh no.
Text us and let us know what is your comfort genre for TV or movie when you're just not feeling well or you're just not feeling it, whatever it is. You can also
It's
hit us up with a shout out or whatever the heck you want to call it on whatever what is the name?
Flaccid text line?
Yeah,
Flaccid
Flaccid.
text
Yeah, that and
Upstate Pulse?
Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. I thought it would be something Irish.
There is Father Ted as well.
Oh yeah,
I've talked about Father
But
Ted.
we've seen Father Ted.
Yes.
We can't talk about the episode we saw. And we
wouldn't.
may want to, but yes.
All I'm
right.
saying
the
is
official position of the Catholic Church.
Yes.
Oh.
No, that's stop.
No.
All
That's
right.
it. That's all I was
Yeah.
going to say.
Okay. All right, Matthew. Is there? I mean,
I haven't flipped through cable TV
All right,
in
it's
over a decade.
it's a hypothetical.
but
all right, you're looking through
a
YouTube.
common go-to
seen
that
that
I'll
show.
go to for stuff would be like I'll jump to a shonen or something if I just want something to watch and have a quick fun time with. But it depends. I kind of go through a lot of different stuff.
Yeah. No, I
go
get
through
it.
phases.
Cameron, how about you? Other than that, do you have another one?
Well, what's funny is I both of my choices are both of the choices that they picked.
Okay.
Okay. Well, there's
But,
nothing wrong with that.
I'll also like if Princess Bride is on or A Knight's Tale or
Yeah. There you go.
something like that.
All right, so I agree with you. Knight's Tale, it's one of those. I'm not feeling well. I'm flipping through. It's on. Yeah, let's watch it. I mean, why
Mhm.
not? Of course. Also for me, anything Marvel or DC, if it's on, I'll probably watch that. So there's a lot of things like that. One of my biggest comfort movies, if I just don't feel well at all and I just want to watch something that makes me feel younger when I was not so infirm,
Mhm.
I will watch Lost Boys
Oh,
because it's
yeah.
one of my favorite movies of all time.
I was about to guess
Know
that.
it line for line, just throw it in there. And a lot of times I'll fall asleep, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Because if you're not feeling well or something, or you just want to be lost a little bit, sometimes you end up napping. Let's go to the text line. Texter says, old school Incredible Hulk with Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno. Very good, especially the ending theme, which Chris and I used back in the day as our year of death. But then everyone started dying, so it's been more than 1 year.
Yeah.
Another texter says, Cheers, Frasier, love. Yeah.
Frasier. I used to
Yes.
like Frasier. Really like Frasier.
Me too. I also liked his wife or girlfriend who was also equally as intelligent, and they would go back and forth.
Oh,
I forget
Lilith.
Lilith. That's
Yeah.
it. I was gonna say I forgot her name. Chris says Bionic Man. Yeah, that
Yeah.
will. I haven't seen it on TV though.
It hasn't been on a lot of things. You have to buy it or try and download it or something. It's not on a lot of things. Oh no, I'm thinking of Bicentennial Man.
David said
Or something.
Vladimir on Omega. I don't know what that is, but that's to
Eh.
each his. Do you know what that is?
Kinda.
Was that like a obscure Russian TV show?
Well, it's ringing bells in my head. I am knowing slightly what it is.
Okay.
Hello, I am
Yes.
Vladimir. I am
Yes.
on the planet Omega.
Of course, the first thing I do if I feel really bad is I will probably just play a video game and fall asleep doing that. But I do enjoy the movie, and
Wait, hold on,
But
you
I
can fall
also-
asleep playing a video game.
yeah, absolutely.
He can. He's done it many
Yeah.
times.
How?
Skill.
Okay.
I've I've went up levels before while I was asleep. I've also fallen off cliffs and died.
Wait,
Yeah, I mean, and
Sounds
jarred
like
awake,
blacking out and getting more money.
when the rumble goes off and the controller like, oh, and then there's okay. Someone says Leave It to Beaver. I don't know, dude.
never.
Are
seen
you
it.
really that old? It's okay if you've never seen Leave It to Beaver. Any movie, any show that started out in black and white.
Hmm.
I mean, I think it's
Apart
okay
from
What
that-
are you
apart
leaving to
from
Beaver?
the Andy Griffith Show, that is just gold right there.
I get why everyone likes it. It's all right. Yeah. I just
I only saw it for the first time ever 5 years ago.
All right. Chris says Tombstone. Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have you got a stand-up film? And the reason I say a stand-up film is if you're just about ready to leave the house, if you're about ready to go somewhere, and you're just getting ready to turn off the TV, you're standing up, you might have your jacket on, keys in hand, ready to go, and then a film that you really love comes on, and you'll probably stand up and watch it. Is there any film like that for you? For me, that one is Pulp Fiction. So if I'm about ready to leave the house and it comes on, I'm like, I'll watch 5 minutes of it, and then
Yeah, still never seen Pulp Fiction.
an hour and a
You
half
should.
later, I'm still watching.
Yeah,
It's good fun.
Tarantino he annoys me.
Tarantino,
Yeah, if you remove the F word from his scripts,
they're boring.
it's like 10 minutes worth of dialogue probably.
Yeah.
That's
He
about
does
it.
like the word foot.
Yes, he does.
Mm.
Yeah, and I don't get it.
Neither do I. Okay.
All right, we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some entertainment.
German entertainment.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no, I don't think we're talking German entertainment.
Dance with us.
Yes.
See, your brain went to the wrong place straight away.
Because
I'm
you
on a-
said it.
I'm on about
'Cause you said-
Frankfurters and Wiener Schnitzels.
Yeah, we all
He's
think
down
that.
as the
Yeah.
dumps.
If
In-
Matthew
in
would
the
have said
club.
it, I would have thought it was probably gonna be something interesting. We all know what you think when you say it.
BM-
You're listening to
BMWs.
yes, stop it. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. Yeah, I agree. The original Gladiator too. That was good.
Have you seen the new one?
Yeah,
Is it good?
yeah.
Yes.
I've been hovering over it for a while now to buy it.
You've been hovering.
Hovering. Yeah.
Okay, all right. You mean you moved your mouse or your thing over and it
Yeah.
went, no.
Yeah.
No,
No, I've been
I
looking
just
at it.
imagine Odie just slightly levitating.
Trey, I think maybe the only Tarantino movie I ever saw was the vampire movie. Why am I blanking on the title?
Dust to Dawn.
From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah. I think that might be the first one I watched and went, okay. And mostly I watched it because I wanted to see the special effects guy was in it. And the vampires are pretty good. And I'm really blanking on names lately. But the special effects guy there was actually in the movie, as well as some older characters that were in some of the exploitation movies, some black exploitation movies and stuff like that. A bunch of those guys were in the bar, and it was really good. Yes, Chris, and the lamentations of the women. And James Earl Jones' head being thrown down the steps.
I wouldn't have time for it. What with the fireman? If you haven't watched Father Ted, go watch Father Ted.
Yeah, stop it. Yeah,
It's good.
Yeah, no.
As much as we should refer to Father Ted.
No, they actually like that episode. Well, surprisingly enough, I showed you that episode, but
Why is that surprising?
it's funny because
Of course
it's
you would
me.
show us that
It
episode.
was the most uncomfortable probably of them all.
Yeah, but y'all laughed your butts off.
Oh no.
It was funny.
It was funny.
It is.
It was absolutely funny. If you're into Monty Python or
Yeah.
or something like that, you get the humor.
But they I told you about they done a song for Europe where they done the Eurovision Song Contest once. That was funny.
I believe you did.
Yeah, it is. You're dead right, Trey. Ding, ding, diddle, ding, 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 ding. Ding, ding, diddle, ding, 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 ding.
That's it. Trey, he's definitely a hoot. Daggum hoot.
Girls. Drink. Girls.
You know what? I was going to do a bunch of other stuff, and I still will. But I want to talk zombies because I don't want to get far away from that because it was such an interesting conversation. And here's the thing. It was an amazing conversation off the air, and I have a theory that when I bring it on the air, it won't be.
You don't want to talk about it.
Take it. We won't be as good.
No, it's him. I mean, I want to see if he brings it.
I'll bring it.
Okay? You're going to bring it.
I'll bring it.
You're going to, no. You're going to bring it.
Yes.
It.
It is what you're
All
going to
of it.
bring.
You need to bring
Twice.
it.
I don't know if you can bring it.
I have it.
Yeah, and we don't want to catch it. That's why maybe it
bring
was
it.
better that you weren't
Deep from
here
your
today.
bowels. Bring it.
Yes.
Down.
Not too much to where it
down
becomes-
from the depths of the gravity.
Yes.
Well, David, the question is it the new Nosferatu? Because I haven't seen it, or the original? The original was pretty creepy.
From the deepest circle of
I
Odin.
think it
I
was
the
silent.
original one.
I think the first one was a silent film.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was good. Like, but
It was creepy.
There was
I find certain silent films a lot scarier than some other things maybe because it leaves stuff to imagination.
Sometimes.
And some of the effects for black and white back, I mean,
Oh yeah.
and you wonder how in the world did they do that?
Do you know they used to wear green lipstick because it would show up red on the
There's a lot of stuff like that. That's kind of cool. And you wonder how long it took them to figure out what's the best practice to do.
I feel like it's just a lot of people messing around. Like,
well, and how expensive it was because film was very expensive.
Yep.
Welcome back into the Upstate Pulse. You guys probably
Wow.
didn't hear the rejoin, which was some Pennywise, and welcome to Derry. I just saw a thing that said it's only going to be 2 seasons.
I mean, they can't do too much because I mean, both seasons worth of children are probably going to die.
As long as it was 28 years before the last movie, I'm fine. If not, I think it was 28 years between showings. Then it's inaccurate. It needs to be accurate.
What about accurate?
All right, we had a conversation off the. It's just been an ongoing conversation throughout the building for a little bit. I don't think Matthew's been involved in this, but I ask a question: is Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, are they alive? And so we had some discussions about whether they're alive or not. And Matthew is already making a face. So we have had these discussions off the air, and I had it with Rod Brown from the Rob Brown Show. I don't know why Rod Brown would be on the Rob Brown Show. It sounds weird, but he is. So I had the conversation with him.
It's close enough, right?
Yeah. So these are they zombies or are they alive? And because we'll continue our conversation, but I'm interested in what Matthew thinks.
Well, real quick, in the context of Creature Commandos or in general?
In general.
Both.
Okay. Matthew, you have the floor.
I think it legitimately just comes down to which version of Frankenstein you're talking about. Because there are certain versions where he's basically a mindless zombie brute, and there's other versions where he is completely sentient.
And sometimes he can dance and sing.
Yeah. But I think it literally just comes down to that determination.
I don't think it does though, because he's alive. Like his heart is beating.
That was my thing.
Yeah.
Until he made the distinction about what he referred to as alive. Because if you're just doing alive in the sense of they are living, then I say yes.
Well, what are we going to?
The reason that I was making that face originally was because I'm like, yeah.
All right.
of
So
course.
here's
but then you made the distinction of alive versus a zombie.
So here's the thing. So we are doing it somewhat in the context of Creature Commandos because Eric, which is Frankenstein's monster, and the Bride are both in there.
Yes.
And they both not only are they sentient, they know what's going on. They have they're kind of immortal, but they also have feelings. They eat, and I think you can only assume if you eat, you excrete somehow. They also have other functions that they get intimate with other people and things like that. So that to me, it's always been, I think, the picture painted that Frankenstein is a zombie, and he's not. He's brought back to life. So the whole point of Frankenstein was to give his monster life. So he gave him life. He brought him back to life.
Yeah.
Or gave him new life because it was a combination of a bunch of different people.
See, I definitely agree with that. And also within the context of the Creature Commandos show, they both get injured. They both get wounded. Like,
yeah,
they
but they
burned,
can
get
heal.
shot.
Though, can't
they can heal. That's the point.
And that's
If you were dead and your cells were dead, they wouldn't be able to multiply and heal.
It would just be holes. There would be no blood. And there's blood also when they're getting shot.
I think that there's pressure, there's blood circulating,
I think that makes them alive.
Yes.
I think once your heart is beating, your lungs are functioning, your internal organs are all functioning. Because I know some people close to the end of death, a lot of their internal organs are shutting down. But when your heart and brain stops, that's it. You're dead.
Yeah.
When your heart and brain stop, no longer function, you are clinically dead. So if you can start, it's like people that have had operations or people that I've worked on the roadsides, they've been clinically dead, and we've told them you died.
Well, what do you guys think? Text line 800-905-0989 or hit us up on stream. Are Frankenstein and the Bride alive? Now I'm going to ask Matthew the next step of our conversation. Again, conversation that's been happening throughout the building, or at least here and wherever I've been. Do you
bring the conversation with you?
Do you believe because Dracula and vampires are considered undead? At least that's what they're labeled. Are vampires in the sense? I mean, of course they're fictional. Would you consider them alive or undead?
This is where you're kind of getting into a weird distinction of what does undead mean.
True.
Because if the question is, are they alive? Yes, of course they are. If the question is, are they alive versus being mindless undead? No, they are alive. They are not mindless undead.
But as Cameron brought up in a conversation before we went on the air, their hearts don't beat. So if their
Okay.
hearts don't beat, are they still alive?
They do.
They don't.
Yeah, when you are getting into, even if they don't,
It
when
also
you're
depends
getting
on
into
which-
that debate, you're getting completely into the legal alive debate, which is just kind of
Yeah.
pointless in this kind of context, I think. Because they're conscious, they're sentient, they're living, they can be killed literally. So I mean, it's kind of weird to say that they're not alive.
All right. So this leads us into the next conversation, the conversation that I wanted to get into. Go ahead.
Yeah, but in Interview with a Vampire, their hearts beat, but it's really slowly.
Okay.
Well, it depends on.
And I'm
what
not sure.
continuity we're talking about.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the crystal vampires are hearts beat or
They're
not.
not.
I don't
They're
know if they do or
They're
not.
not vampires.
Dude, the
Yeah,
sparkly
so-
ones.
Yeah, I don't know if the sparkly
allowed.
ones have.
going to
of sparkly hearts.
I'm sparkly.
Okay, so the next step on this, if we're talking about undead, are zombies. So
They're not dead. Yeah, they're
zombies are definitely
Hmm.
dead, and we were having a discussion off the air, and I'm curious about what Matthew thinks about this. If something happened to cause zombies to rise, could zombies that are in graves get out?
I don't think so.
It
Yeah.
depends on how deep they're buried, I think.
Well, there's a standard for anybody that's been buried in the last 100 years. It's been 6 foot.
Yes, but there's also very much variance in that too.
Like there is. You have vaults, and you have like the new, like the old coffins are the same as the Irish coffins. They're a pine box, and there's no hinges, there's no aluminum, there's nothing on them like that. Whereas the new coffins now, they're like a little vault, and then they're put into, depending on the graveyard, they're put into a vault. So not only do you have to get out of the coffin, you have to get out of the vault, then you have to go through at least 6 foot of dirt before you get out. That's probably not an easy thing to do.
If we're putting them all in that kind of scenario, if they are in a coffin, they are specifically 6 feet underground. No, none of them are getting out.
Yeah, because if you see a zombie movie, most zombie movies, they show zombies crawling out of the graveyard.
Yeah, exactly.
and
It's a nice
so-
visual.
So I mean, to make it more realistic for a zombie, I think maybe World
It's
War Z would be more accurate to a degree.
Mhm.
We also discussed, and we'll get to your texts and to your messages on stream, bunch of those on there about this conversation.
But even a morgue, if somebody is in a morgue, they're not getting out of the locker.
Right.
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're limited to people who were dead or zombies that were dead a
Or
long
turned.
time ago before then, or newly
But it's also
turned
important
zombies.
to note that once you get that far back, a lot of those corpses are very decomposed.
Yeah,
Exactly
they're
the
just skeletons
conversation
at
that-
point.
They're
exactly the
they're not gonna be
conversation we had
complete.
off the air,
There's basically
yeah.
no muscle or tissue
Yeah.
left.
No, and then I
But,
made the
yeah.
comment then to the guys that if you put a lump of meat or the side of, like I've seen deer will decompose. You see a deer on the side of the road, it's going to decompose completely in about 4 weeks, 5 weeks. It's gone. It's just bones. So is it a case of when the zombie apocalypse happens, go to your house, lock the door, stay inside for about 3 or 4
Just wait
weeks?
for everything to
Should be fine.
decompose.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. And
As long as you don't, as long as it depends on where the virus comes from. Does it come from a bite, or does it come from something you breathe or something you ate?
probably comes from China.
Yeah, it
But
could be.
yeah. But and the other thing is make use.
You're right. Your Trump is not.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
terrible.
good. It's not good.
It's terrible.
Don't do it again.
Maybe make use of bicycles while you're there as well. I mean,
Oh yeah. Well,
you know.
as long as you're keeping your eye on the road. I mean,
with your beige shotgun across your back.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Or just be friends with Bill Frady or Odie or people of the like. And we also we went down this rabbit hole or zombie hole or whatever a little bit and
Yeah.
wondered why some zombies in some zombie movies they want to eat brains. And so Odie researched the composition of a brain. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on News Talk 98.9 WORD. the voice of the Carolinas. We will get to all your guys' comments.
I feel like that just kind of turned into an interview for that.
Well, because we had the conversation off the air, and I already know your guys' opinion, but I wanted his opinion so we can combine with his opinion.
I wasn't besmirching the segment. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, you know what? One thing we will not stand for is besmirching
or smirching an already besmirched interview.
baloney. We
Well,
won't stand for baloney.
I like a little bit of baloney now.
He won't stand for baloney.
Bologna?
I'm quoting a movie, but
Okay.
I don't know that you've seen the movie. So
No.
You
What's
know,
the movie?
Whenever
Weird
he
Science.
doesn't get something, it just feels.
I
like
have seen
they're going
the
to
yeah.
it.
Weird Science. It's got Kenny Brock in it.
Nanny and Grampy.
Ever so slightly, like
Yeah,
she
yeah,
never gets naked,
yeah.
but she nearly does.
What are my grandparents catatonic and Sorry, I just remember a lot of lines from Weird Science.
That's your stand-up movie.
Actually, I'm not apologizing for that.
Don't apologize.
it was an-
Never apologize
It
for
was
the
very
crazy.
good.
Let it out.
That young Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I remember that.
is a bad guy.
That was before the incidents and after the incidents.
No, it's probably during.
See,
Yeah, I think
was gonna say,
it was
during.
pretty during. Yeah.
I have a problem keeping focused.
Right after that, he and Anthony Michael Hall went on Saturday Night Live, and arguably the worst at the time cast.
Did they
Ever.
do that?
It's about the writing. It's not necessarily about the performance.
No, that's what I'm
yeah.
asking. Is like, could you see sparks of?
It's been I don't remember them doing anything memorable.
It's been 1 week.
Ah.
Look at me.
Even during really bad casts, there's usually standout members that like Billy Crystal or someone like that. Even when Saturday Night Live decided that they just want to be nothing but politics all the time, if you watched a little bit of it, there's still a couple skits where they'll go away from it, and it's pretty good.
Terrible.
They've gone away from a lot of that.
Have they?
Yes.
I watched it like 4 weeks ago, and it was terrible.
It also depends on who the host is. I watched when Travis Kelce hosted because Travis Kelce, and I thought he did pretty well. I think that was last year.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
Yeah, David Keenan has been there forever, and just about everything Keenan does is funny.
Is he Keenan from Keenan and Kel?
Yes.
Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. Is it true?
Thing is, I never really watched Keenan and Kel because
I did.
I aged out of that.
I watched it.
I recognize Keenan from Heavyweights,
when I came home from school.
one of the best movies of all time.
Keenan and
Heavyweights.
Kel. Never seen that.
So you never percocized? You never had a buddy?
I've had many buddies.
You've never seen Heavyweights? Wow. It's about overweight kids being
Movie.
sent to a camp.
Oh, look. What's his name is in it? Ben Stiller.
He's the bad guy.
We even had a liner for that. don't
Judd
we?
Yeah.
Apatow is in it as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in it.
Did we get rid
But-
of that liner?
I don't know. There's some of those young actors turned like Keenan turned into something else. It's like they took the guys from the Mighty Ducks, a couple of those guys, and put them in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller's pretty ripped.
He's a
Oh, it's on Disney Plus. I mean, I could give it a
I'm
watch.
pretty sure it was a Disney movie.
It is actually Disney's Heavyweights. Would you believe it? Would you?
it's the first
Well,
time I
that's
ever
what
saw
this is.
one of those big inflatable things that you jump on and then someone else gets.
Oh,
launched on
they're
it.
cool.
I always wanted to try that. Welcome back at the Upstate Pulse. Lonzo and Matthew and Cameron and Odie here. Having a blast on Saturday night. If you're out and about, be careful because black ice is a real thing. Things that thawed out today will refreeze tonight. So just take it easy.
I did see a lot of the road gritters going along.
Ritters.
Gritters.
So they put the only place that grits should be
Yeah.
out on the road, breaking up
Yeah.
ice for
Yeah.
sure.
No.
I mean, grits would definitely give you traction. All right, we've been talking about zombies, vampires, and Frankenstein
Yeah, our
because
sandpaper.
I know it's not October, but it's been an ongoing conversation in radio because everyone here is weird.
Yep.
Even the people who you don't think are weird, they're weird.
They're
They'll
weird.
have these conversations. They'll have these
Mhm.
semantic, not necessarily arguments, but discussions where you just go down the unbeaten path for a long time. You make your way back eventually. Just
Do you know?
lots of branches though.
Well,
Eventually they find me in the woods and I go, "Hey, you ain't from around here, are you?" Yeah, that's usually what happens. All right, on the stream.
Take my hand.
Yeah, that's
Do not take the hand. Do not take the
dude,
hand.
don't do that. Let's see.
Touch it.
Viper Dave says, "What if he's Abby Normal?" What hump. Mark says, "I think the Bride and Eric Frankenstein are alive, maybe undead, which includes sentience, but they're not. If they're alive, they can't be undead, right?"
Well,
I
undead
think-
is alive.
The question is, what do you
Well,
classify as undead?
Yeah, I
'Cause
guess.
I am currently
It's-
undead.
Yeah, me too. I guess we are all undead. I guess. Yeah. All right.
It's one of those things of like it's in between life and death. That's like where the undead level kind of is.
All right.
Limbo?
Chris says undead have no soul, which is a possibility.
Again, but then I'm undead because I don't have a soul. Being a redhead,
Mm,
like
Yeah,
You're not
well,
completely right.
yeah, but it's enough to where you could get lost in the depths of, and you see the emptiness when you look in his eyes. We just don't do it very often.
No, never
Yeah.
stare into the redhead's
Yeah.
eyes.
You do not want to do that.
I will put another freckle on my skin.
Wow, is that how that works? Matthew, did you know that?
I didn't know
That's-
Is
that.
that the
That's
souls
where the
accumulated?
That's where the freckles come from. I'm slightly afraid right now.
Quite a few.
I really am scared right now.
Tastes really good with toast.
Oh, what souls do?
Mm.
Wow.
Soul toast,
All right, so
butter and toast.
CES is going on right now, and a couple announcements have been made as far as video game movies go.
What's CES?
I forget what it stands for.
Okay.
But it's a bunch of
Video
new
games.
no, it's new stuff. The thing we watched that we're going to talk about later,
Oh yeah,
that was there.
Oh, that was.
Yeah, that was later.
Oh, I forget about that.
All right, so a couple of video games. Sony has decided, hey, we're just going to make everything into a movie. So I'm curious what everyone thinks. They're making Horizon Zero Dawn into a movie. Seen a lot of people talking about that. I don't know if anyone here has played it other than me,
That can be good.
but it's a very good movie. It's in the future. The world, of course, has been destroyed to a degree, and everyone's in tribes, but all the animals are basically cyborgs. And it's a pretty cool game and kind of hard.
It's like Blade Runner, so.
Yeah, it's no.
No,
Okay.
When I say tribal, I mean tribes as in, tribes. There's no technology anymore. The only technology are
Post-apocalypse.
Amish have taken
and
over.
so she goes on a journey where she actually discovers old tech and stuff like that, and they worship that kind of stuff. But it looks like it could be a pretty good movie, depending on. I mean, with today's effects, it should be good. Ghosts of Tsushima rather, is going to be an anime on Crunchyroll. I am looking forward to that. Now, that game came out a few years ago with the Sony controller. Cameron saw me do this a bunch of times with the touchpad. If you raked your hand across it, the wind blew on the game. It was so cool. But it's about, you would do this and just watch the wind blow.
You know,
on the
I was
game.
going to say why, but then I was like, no, I'm not.
it's
gonna.
cool.
Yeah.
You would enjoy it if
Yeah.
you saw it.
Yeah, I would.
It's just satisfying for some reason.
Yeah, so they're going to make that into an anime, which apparently, according to the article I read, no Sony movie or no Sony game has been made into an anime.
Which of all the
Do we have any
things-
idea what studio is going to be doing it?
So, Sony Studios, isn't
So
it?
it's going to be on Crunchyroll. Let's see, in collaboration with Aniplex, the studio behind the likes of Demon Slayer and
Aniplex is just a licensor,
Solo Leveling and Sword Art Online.
and Aniplex isn't an actual animation.
Okay,
studio.
I'm just telling you what the article is saying.
But the thing is, does
And
it make a
it's going to be
difference?
directed by.
No, they don't do anything. All they do is localize and distribute.
It's going to be directed by Takanobu Masuno. And so anyway,
I don't think it makes a difference with the studio. I think it's the director makes it all the differences big time. Like,
Well, the director is with the studio. So in And a lot of animation studios, they have internal
Oh,
staff
they have their
that are
in-house.
usually they might have 1 or 2 teams within
Yeah.
there, but they're usually it's going to be a main staff that is
Oh,
going to
okay.
be transitioning over all the anime that studio works
So
on.
it's not like Warner Brothers or
Well,
any of those, 'cause they don't.
Chris Sabat
it.
was over Funimation.
Funimation
Yeah.
is a localization thing.
Yeah, which is now it's been bought out by Crunchyroll, hasn't it? At least the online thing
Crunchyroll
now.
is just the is just a is a streaming service that I think also does localization now themselves in house. But all that stuff that you hear over here that's entirely localization. They have 0 hands in the actual production of anime productions.
Oh, okay.
All right. Viper Dave says, know what would make an awesome anime? One Punch Man. It's already an anime.
I think that was the joke.
Was it? Okay. I haven't seen any English dubs. Another game that they're making into a movie is Helldivers 2. And I want to ask Cameron, because he's the only one I know who's played it, what he thinks that would be like. Explain what Helldivers 2 is, and why you think it would make a good movie or not make a good movie.
Well, if you saw, oh my God, why am I blanking on this? It had all the bugs and stuff in it.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. So just imagine a more modern Starship Troopers, but with the addition of other aliens that are also trying to kill you. It'll be satirical just like it. It would honestly just kind of be more like a comedy.
Eh.
If they played it like that, it'd be a very dark comedy because people are dying all over the place. But the way
that's
that
what makes it a dark comedy, right?
Yes. But in that game, you die in hilarious ways and you don't even get mad about it. Including just like, what's that? You shoot it and just immediately explode.
I like stuff like
But
that.
they have like fire raining from the sky randomly and
Oh,
stuff
God,
like
yes.
that, right? So yeah,
It's
so-
absolute chaos and it'd be fun to watch.
So there was a time, and this show, by the way, been around for 10 years, the Upstate Pulse. This is the first time you're tuning in. Chris Evans, one of the guys who started the show with me, he and I had discussions forever about how there was never any good video game movies. Now I think there are. And I think the fact that the 3 of us in this movie, just in this room, went to see a good video game movie. Do you consider Sonic 3 of a good video game movie, Matthew?
Sonic 3?
Yeah.
He's in research mode.
I am in research mode.
I honestly don't think that they need to make movies out of video games.
Oh, they absolutely do. What is wrong with you?
I don't think they do.
There are some games that are really, really good. We're going to be addressing Fallout a little bit later. Movies and TV shows, I think we finally reached the technological level where we can do them justice. And there's been some really good writing in video games that could translate onto the big screen.
As long as they do other stories, not just a rehash of what the actual video game was, I feel like it would add more to it.
All right. When we come back, we are going to, we have an Oops and AI Takeover, talking some more video games and their roundtable. You listen to the Upstate Pulse right here on News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas. I'm trying to figure out who's doing the anime. Matthew, is that what you're looking up?
I am looking up the studio. It is Kamikaze Duga is the studio.
But the thing
They
is,
did Pop Team Epic, Sandlands. Yeah, so there. This is going to be a 3D animated series.
are they going back to 3D?
That's what this studio specializes in. It looks like.
What do you think of
From all the
3D?
stuff that I'm looking at.
What do y'all think of 3D?
Depends on the movie. And it also depends on.
Also, you're thinking of something different.
yeah. It's not.
It's not 3D as in like things coming out of the screen. It's 3-dimensional as in like CGI.
Yeah, CG. Sorry, CG.
Oh, okay.
Not all of their stuff is, so it's not guaranteed that it will be.
But I think 3D movies in general have kind of.
Yeah, I've never really. I'll watch one. But
Yeah.
I don't really like go crazy.
Well, as far as that goes, I mean, I remember when I was a teenager when 3D came back the first time, and Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. When Jason got his mask, by the way.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street in 3D.
Was
Jaws
that
in
the red,
3D.
The red green 3D.
Yeah,
Or red
and
blue 3D.
and there was a movie that started back then called Coming at You, and it was a Western. It was like arrows coming at you and stuff like that. So as a teenager and 3D, it went away like in the 50s or something like that. It was pretty cool when it came back. And then recently, I think one of the very first movie we saw in IMAX 3D was Harry Potter Was it Deathly Hallows 1 or 2? I can't remember which one,
I forget, but I think it was one of them.
but it was great in 3D.
Yeah.
The first Hobbit movie was the first one I saw in 3D. It was good, but it was
But it wasn't shot for 3D. I think if a movie is,
no, it was.
I mean, not entirely.
Yeah,
I think
no.
there are some movies shot entirely for that format, and they're usually better.
No, it
Don't
was
they? I
really
think they
shot.
film some of these movies now will film
Oh,
the
do you, what he
simultaneous.
means, like if it plays into it more.
Yeah, no, but it was like the Hobbit films were shot for 3D. Because I
Oh,
remember they made a
cool.
massive
Remember
deal
that
about
being a
it.
thing.
They made a huge deal out of it.
See-
Because we went to see it for work.
See, I don't think
And-
I don't think it was. I'm not trying to fight because true.
So do y'all remember Star Wars Visions?
Yes.
Remember
No.
the first episode, the one with the Ronin? It was in black and white.
Yes.
That's the studio and the same director.
Okay, so this should be good.
Now I will say that is one of like 2 things he has ever directed. So
Hey, you
hopefully
get
it's not just a one-off.
you get your
thing.
break and get your start somewhere. I mean, you
Yeah.
know.
But the thing is, with
So Matthew, you don't want to give the guy a chance?
I mean, I'm happy to see somebody succeed, but I don't have anything to really base his past work off of other than one
Have oops ready.
short film. So I don't know what to think.
We'll either
next.
get to it first or second segment.
But the thing is that studios don't generally have a lot of say when it comes to the movies. They pick the movies, they pick the directors, but when it's actually happening, they get to watch the movie when it's nearly finished. But it's not the studio that makes a movie.
It's the studio that makes it.
Well, no,
So
they
in
make it, but
animation,
it's-
what is being made by an animation studio, the studio has the directors, animators, producers, everything with that.
It's
Mhm.
different in this context.
Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to like
This is not
movies
an
made in-
American
Yeah.
studio. This is anime, which is run very differently.
Yeah, maybe. There's any set I've been on. There's never been even smaller independent ones that have been like
And
No, and you're
any
right.
set that you've been on is completely
it
different
would
from an
be.
anime
It would
production.
be. Yeah, no, it would be.
It's a totally different world.
It's
Yeah.
a really horrible, horrible world, in fact.
Really?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, because they're constantly like basically breaking their animators. Just to,
Yeah, most animation studios, with how much anime productions have stepped up in terms of volume and quality over the
Mhm.
years, animators are paid next to nothing
Oh, really?
and are overworked more than anything you ever see over here. Like, it's insane the amount of hours that they're put in for no pay.
also, if I'm correct, Japanese work culture is
Japanese work culture is also absolutely horrible, and that only adds to that. Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like it was
Mm.
on to me.
Wow,
I
way to
have
bring
worked-
everything down, guys.
Thing is, I have worked for Osaka, and they were a really, really great company to work for.
Working with
Have you
Arasaka?
actually lived in Japan working
So-
there doing that, though?
No, but they.
That's a completely different scenario.
Mm.
'Cause we're not talking about, oh, you're doing some contract work.
Oh no, I
for
worked like
thing,
for the
or
company.
working for them remotely or something like that. I'm talking, or even working here for a company that has a location out here. We are talking specifically about working in Japan as a Japanese.
Oh, we had to. No, we had a lot of stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we had to do, and it's all about your respect and your bowing and all that. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we had to learn.
Yeah, there's a lot of cultural
Just
things in that.
Yeah,
regard,
yeah,
but
that's
we're
the
not
word I was
talking
looking for.
about that.
Culture,
So in Japan,
Just
you're
the way they-
basically
the way they treat the people, is it, or the way?
it's a lot of about what is expected of you. You are expected to work overtime. For
Oh,
no
yeah,
pay.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
are expected, if something is happening from work, if your boss is inviting people out to drinks, that is not. An
Oh yeah, you have to go
invitation.
to it.
That is, you are expected to go
Oh yeah,
to that.
yeah, yeah.
You are expected to follow everything that is happening one for one, and then you are expected afterwards to immediately turn around and get back to work.
But you know what the funny thing is about work dues with Japanese people, that I found anyway, is that they can't handle the drink next or near as much as Irish people could. So you'd go to like something that was on, like a dinner or something, and all the Japanese guys would be like really drunk, and we'd just be sitting there going, "All right, should we get really drunk as well?" It was funny. Like they'll share one beer with 4 people. I always thought that was really kind of cool. Funny though.
That's interesting.
Welcome back into the Upstate Pulse Hour 2, coming up, affectionately known as the Nerd Hour. If you want to be a part of the show, the text line is 800-905-0989. We haven't got a Flaccid today because I don't think we broke in the Flaccid as far as the text line. The new text line, which is the old text line with just a new number, started last week. 800-905-0989. Kind of brother get some Flaccid up in here. Also, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at either the Upstate Pulse or 98.9 WORD. In this hour, we are going to be, we've got an AI takeover. We're going to talk some video games and nerd roundtable. Before we get to all that, though, let's spoil. And it's probably only me and Cameron going to do this, but that's fine. Let us spoil a couple things, including Creature Commandos.
Yep.
All right. So if you haven't watched the final episode, sorry, I don't want you to turn away. But if you do, I understand. I want to start out by saying that Mina is the most useless character in probably the history of movies, TV, animated, whatever.
So I've seen a few clips on Twitter for Creature Commandos. Mina's the fish girl, right?
She's the fish
Yes.
girl who does nothing the entire season. She can't fight. She can't really, she's like moral support for a couple people. She does become a friend to the bride, and then the bride sends her out to make a kill, and she gets gutted.
Yep.
Like a fish.
Well, here's the thing, though. That's kind of the whole point, because she isn't as monstrous as they are. She just looks a little bit.
So they do backstories, and what
Yeah.
happened was she was a baby who was born with her lungs on the outside, and her dad was he was a scientist, he was a doctor, he was all that kind of stuff. So he created a serum which he thought would help her, and it turned her into a fish person.
Yes. The other thing is, like, she never hurt anybody. She never did anything. She just constantly got bullied, and then eventually got captured. And then her dad got murdered just on
Right
the
in front of
spot.
her.
Yeah.
Right. It's a completely tragic character, and then she dies for no reason.
So I think another thing that, if I recall correctly, James Gunn
No, Chris. She is not Bulma from Dragon Ball Z.
No, she's not. Bulma does a lot more useful things. Bulma does all the useful things. But he termed this chapter of the beginning of the DCU as being gods and monsters. I don't know if necessarily the monsters in Creature Commandos are the monsters.
No, they're not, from what I saw.
Yeah, it's mostly the people.
All right. Mark says Nina wasn't a criminal. She shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place.
Absolutely.
Here's the reason why that they did that, at least I believe, is the fact that if someone looks or acts differently than other people, in this case is a monster, you just consider we need to lock that person away. And that's what they did with her, because she never did anything. She was eating fish.
Yes.
I mean, maybe she didn't have a fishing license. We know around
Probably,
here,
man,
that's a
probably.
bad thing. You ain't got a
Probably have it.
fishing license. You could go up the river.
Yep.
So to speak.
The whole thing was supposed to be a tragedy, and it was.
She's an allegory for racism, as are a lot of things in comics.
All right, and I get all that. From that standpoint, I get it. But from
The team standpoint, why did
doesn't-
Waller even send her in there?
Why was she sent, and why would they want her on the team? Every member of the team was a killer, except for her. And in the end, the bride made a mistake and sent her out to make the kill because the person they were trying to kill was swimming. It's like Aquaman standing around waiting for, finally they're in water, I can do something. It was that kind of thing.
I shall summon a whale.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's some cool images as the princess is swimming on top and she's swimming underneath with the knife parallel to her. There's some cool
And
images.
then not so great images afterwards where the princess just.
But in the end,
Tore
I
up.
guess the fact is that they used her to further the bride
To a degree, I think.
because she was the bride's friend. And then, the whole season is either they're saving the princess or they're sent to kill the princess. The bride just straight up walks in and shoots her in the head and she's dead.
And I absolutely appreciated that.
Yeah. I
moment.
mean, just you killed my friend. Boom. She's done.
It's like, I'm not doing this for Waller. I'm not doing this to save the world. I'm doing this because you killed my friend.
All right. Mark had a great point. Weasel wasn't a criminal either, but he was framed.
He was.
And it was made to look like he was a criminal. Nina wasn't any of that.
Phosphorus, though.
Oh, he's criminal.
Straight up.
Who was caught by Batman.
Yes.
So, because it's Batman. All right. The other thing that happened this past week, and we are caught up on, is Skeleton Crew. So we're going to spoil that a little bit too. All right, they finally make it to the planet. The kids make it back, and then the bad guy, the pirate, who has force powers, who may or may not, no one knows what he is exactly.
He's a bat.
He basically threatens them and says, "Hey, if you do anything, I'll kill all your parents."
Is everything up? Is it the full season up now?
No, there's one more episode, and the question is, what is Jod? Who is Jod?
I think he was all right.
Is he
He's
Sith?
either
Is he a
just-
Jedi?
he's
Is
not
he something
Sith.
else?
He's definitely not Sith. I think the thing is he was either a really young Padawan who got away and somehow survived on like scraps and stuff, or he's just force sensitive and learned how to use his powers a little bit. From what we've seen of what he can do, he's not that attuned to the force. He's attuned enough to be able to float things back and forth, but knows he hasn't used any like bigger powers or anything like that.
I will say,
Unless he's using mind tricks on everybody too.
he could be. I will also say, I mean, it's, you may think, well, it's easy to use a lightsaber. When he beheaded the robot, looked like he had some saber skills. And space pirates don't usually.
And he went out of his way.
Yeah.
He made a look when he saw the lightsaber too.
Yes.
And Jude Law is like what, 50?
Somewhere around.
60.
Is he that old? He looks younger.
Yeah.
He definitely looks younger.
So in the context of that, it's been 30 years since the Empire took over.
All right. Mark says he escaped Order 66 as a youngling. He's about the right age.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I was wrong. He's 52. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I mean, he was probably really young when he left. Had to survive a whole bunch on his own.
Captured by pirates, raised by pirates, that whole thing probably.
Yeah, he had a whole Star-Lord thing.
Yeah, he did.
Yar. But the thing is, you're not born a Jedi or a Sith.
No, that's ideology. That's
But some
Yeah,
people are
too.
also bringing up the one movie where anyone could have the Force. And all
we're
that
not
kind of
talking
stuff.
about that.
And that maybe that this is proof that that's true. And I don't believe that for a second. He used to be something.
Yes, because he has had enough training to work a little bit of some force powers and enough to be able to swing the lightsaber without.
I think he
killing
can use
himself.
more Force powers than he's using.
That's my idea too. Is I think he's holding back because the entire time, half the time when he's captured, he lets himself get captured.
Right.
Mark,
Just so he can move himself into a different position.
Mark has a very good comment. See what I did there? Mark, a very anyway. He said that he escaped Order 66
Yeah,
as a youngling.
yeah,
I think
We
that's,
just said
already read that.
I just said that. Yeah, I did. I just said
Hey,
that.
Odie,
Yeah,
catch
it's
up.
all right.
Catch up, Odie.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break while Odie catches up.
I just need to read.
It's okay. It's all right. And when we come back, listen, here's the thing. When you're clenching really hard, it's hard to concentrate.
I am using the Force
Yes, he
currently.
is.
Most
Yeah.
of his brain power is down south.
He's making them diamonds right now. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Don't laugh too hard, Odie.
Come back with you and then have AI take over. Ready? I hope he's worse than we think.
Oh, as far as evil?
Yes. I mean, I'm not talking about glowing eyes, all that kind of stuff. I just hope he's just suddenly he reveals himself and it's like, oh. There's all this speculation that the planet had something to do with Palpatine and stuff, but now we know it's Fort Knox.
Yeah.
The planet is Fort Knox. I mean, it's full of a lot of gold.
Yes.
So when they say it is a treasure planet, it absolutely is. It's the treasury planet.
Yes. It was part of this, a whole bunch of other treasure.
And
planets.
probably still is because they let envoys in. The envoys probably come in, get money,
Yep.
and take it back out. So it's like it's a bank. And all the kids, I think, are learning how to run a bank.
Yeah, because all of their parents are bankers.
So he's trying to pull the biggest bank heist in the galaxy.
Yes.
Well, just say this one line only, Trey. Pepto tastes yummy.
Is it still chalky?
No.
They made it smooth. I always feel more sick after, just the taste of Pepto. I don't know.
No, it tastes like strawberries.
Strawberry peppermint.
No, strawberry, not peppermint.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
By the way, I now have Running Up the Hill just stuck in my head for some reason.
I was very curious on the Pepto about how much to take.
Mhm.
It's not very clear.
How much did you say? Ghost?
No, it's not. It's pink. It's not very.
No, I looked it up then. I was like, oh, okay.
Stuff expecting you to say. So it wasn't the whole bottle.
No,
he
no.
ate sushi, Trey. That's what I'm guessing.
No, Odie doesn't eat sushi. That stuff.
Sushi?
Sushi. Oh, my ass hurts.
Steve Mark, I agree too. I think he's worse than he's letting on. I don't think it's the redeemable kind of thing. I think he's really bad.
Well, he just straight up murder all those guys who are trying to beat down the door.
It's not even too much. It's Annie. Rolling Stones a kick in. Mick Jagger. I had a red door and I drank some Pepto. It was black. Diddle-diddle-diddle.
That was really a stretch there. I mean,
It was.
I mean, you know.
I don't want it to stretch.
Yes, he had gas station sushi, Chris. That's exactly what he did. He went, I'm from Ireland. I have a tremendous stomach. I can handle this.
He went,
I
and then he ate
don't.
some.
Yeah,
I
he
have.
definitely went,
Ah!
Eat at the gas station at Cork all the time. This ain't.
I did actually.
Cork, the best place for gas station sushi.
No, it's the best place for a chicken roll.
A chicken roll.
Chicken roll. Chicken roll is a breaded chicken fillet chopped up into loads of little pieces, put into a roll with mayonnaise or Kerrygold Irish butter, and then you cover it with cheese and mayonnaise, and then you'll put like salad onto it, and then you just.
Why would you put salad on it?
Why not?
So you have to eat it with a fork like you do your pizza.
No, you just roll it up. And
Yeah, but if there's salad on top of it, oh, you mean there's salad inside
Yeah,
the roll?
yeah.
So it's basically a burrito.
yeah, but that's a roll.
So they
It's
roll
a
it.
baguette.
Do they roll it?
Baguette.
No, that's not
It's a French baguette.
you stuff.
That's what we
those.
call a roll.
Don't you stuff?
It's a roll.
It's like a
It's
pita.
a roll.
It's a pita.
Roll. Radio.
I don't think he wins the argument by doing that.
All right, Mike's on.
All right, so this is a time of the weekend when we talk about someone who did something stupid to get arrested or got away with it, which in this case, they got away with it. And this story very easily could have been using the Flaccid Stories intro, because this is an amazing thievery
Adventure.
and the scenario that they wrote up in their mind and said, okay, you do this as a distraction and I'll do this. Okay. So
Was it a heist that went to crap?
no, because they got away with it.
Yeah.
So far. All right. Let's go to Mulberry, Florida. Not sure where that is, but it's somewhere in Florida. I'm getting Mulberry, Florida. Matthew, you thinking Florida?
Florida.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. That's kind of confirmation. All right.
Just before, when I was back in Ireland, if you wanted someone to believe a story, you'd say this happened in America, and people would believe it. But since I came here to America, I've had to say this happened in Florida, and people will believe
All right.
it.
So we've talked about this before. Florida and Ohio have laws where they don't have any law. You don't have to get a FOIA to find out what happened. So everything's public.
FOIA?
Yeah. Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
So
Just do it.
so you don't have to apply to get the information. It's just there. So on our Topic Pulse programming, I have created a subcategory which just grabs all arrests from Ohio and Florida. And
I've seen it.
so I just go through that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I got this from. So Mulberry, Florida, a man and woman who Polk County deputies are calling Mr. Clean and Mrs. Dookie. Okay, so this is what I'm just quoting the story.
Okay.
Is that like Fire and Ice, Ebony and Ivory?
So well, anyway, and they're on the run after a messy burglary at Mulberry Family Dollar Store. So of course it happened at the Family Dollar because
I got a feeling
else
that the
would it
poop
happen?
bandits are about.
as long as it didn't happen at the DG Market, because that's for real. That's a for real place, the DG Market. I love that
Yes.
place. All right, according to Polk County Sheriff's Office, a man and a woman walked into the Family Dollar Store on Bailey Road last month and played very different roles in a $500 retail heist.
Hmm.
Deputies say the man walked around the store gathering nearly $500 worth of items like Gain, Tide, and Clorox products.
Mm.
So I don't think he's going to make drugs. I just think,
No,
that stuff's expensive.
Yeah.
It really is. It's very expensive. While he was gathering the cleaning supplies, deputies say a woman distracted employees by using the store's floor as her restroom. Deputies noted that an employee had to clean up the mess she made. Well, yeah, they're not going to leave it laying there. I've had to do that before, and I worked in a grocery store, and an old man walked, and he wasn't wearing Depends, and it just went out all over the floor. It was not a good time for me.
Oh, God.
Deputies are searching for a man and woman accused of stealing $500 of items. Yeah. Images. Anyway, the couple left the store in a white van, according to PCSO. Stop it. In a post on social media, the sheriff's office stated, if you recognize Mr. Clean or Mrs. Dookie, or you have information regarding this investigation, please contact Detective Hannon, and then there's a phone number.
So what you're saying is that she pulled a chocolatier.
Have you ever, Matthew, in all the stories that you have written and read here live on WORD, where you go to get your news, do you ever recall hearing a story that is like this with Mr. Clean and Mrs. Dookie?
I don't think I've ever reported on something anywhere near like that.
I will say, as I read the story, it's no offense to you, but as I read the story, I heard Roger Davis reading it. Just because,
as you should. It's Roger's voice.
Yeah, it's Roger's voice in my head for any story like this, and it just made it awesome.
Yes.
So this is an elaborate plan. By the way, just because you heard it here on the Upstate Pulse and WRD,
I don't know that I'd call it elaborate as much as I would bold.
We don't condone it.
No, we do not.
No.
The station does not. The show does not. We as individuals, or at least I don't condone it.
No.
I'm guessing
Restrooms are meant to be private, people.
They are. And as I said, someone who had to clean up after that kind of stuff before is not pleasant.
No, unless you're a bear, unless you're in the woods, or the Pope in the woods,
Yes, Dave, it is a crappy story. Here's the thing, though. So these two people, they sat around conniving. They were planning and said, okay, what kind of distraction can I do to get everyone's attention?
I can think of so many better distractions.
And he looked at her and said, you ugly, so flashing ain't going to work. Okay.
She could have laid down and
no,
a fit.
She could have, but
would have been cleaner.
She may have had trouble getting off the ground if she did that. I don't know. I've seen pixtures of the people. So
the question is, what prep went into this?
Okay.
To make sure
well,
that
she wasn't heavy. She just, I don't know. She's a little bit older.
Was she spherical?
No, she's just older.
Okay.
Texas says laugh out loud at Roger Davis reading that story. Yeah, Roger. We used to have a segment called the Roger Rewind where Roger would do his regular news, and if I heard him read a fluff piece or something like this with his delivery, never breaking once, never laughing, nothing, just smooth as could be, and I would take it and put it behind some rap beats, and Roger loved it. He would tune in every weekend to listen to it, but because I'm not doing that anymore, I don't hear them, so I had to stop doing it. This is, I'm telling you, I've never heard of anything like this. It's so weird.
Neither have I, and I hate it.
You see, we used to, in a factory I was working in the Midlands, just outside
Midlands,
Midlands,
like near Columbia.
No, in back in Ireland.
Okay.
Which middle are you talking about, Odie?
Right smack in the middle. I'm not
so the handle part of the peninsula.
Yeah. And sorry, just had to vent away the bad thoughts there for a second.
It sounded like you sucked in your hatred.
You've already vented away a lot of stuff today.
Oh, it did. Certainly did. Yeah, there was the Phantom Pooper.
Oh.
We had a Phantom Pooper for about 6 months, and then all of a sudden, the Phantom Poops stopped.
Okay, so where were you working again?
I'm not going to say the name of the
No.
company.
What kind of company was it?
It was an automotive company.
Okay, this was done on the grounds or like in the restroom?
In the plant.
Okay, all right.
This was done in a corridor or beside a machine, and he was proud of it, or he or she. It could have been, but at least once a week.
What, did they write their name or something? I mean, how do you know that there's pride involved? Maybe they just was a hard worker.
No,
maybe
by
couldn't make
the
it to the
orientation
restroom
of the poop.
No,
it's
almost like they picked their spot where it would be seen, and
proudly displaying their work is what you're.
Yes, that is what they did. It happened for about 6 months.
You didn't have a mishap with it, did you?
No,
Okay.
I nearly did. I got sick one day. Actually, it was very lucky that it was right beside a door, because I was walking down the floor. I was 5:30 in the morning. I was getting ready to start up a few machines, and I was walking down, and I just seen something on the floor. I was like, what is that? And as I was getting closer, I got the waft. And then as I got even closer, I was like, oh. And then there was lots of expletives, and Odie bursting through a door, seeing his breakfast again.
Were you crying?
Oh no, there was no crying.
It's okay. I mean,
There was no.
I mean, that action of expelling.
I know.
I don't think
sometimes
I've
will
ever
make you-
thrown up without having tears.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
that's what I was saying. I wasn't
Tears, but not crying.
okay.
Lots
alright.
of expletives. Lots.
So you
of
can have tears
expletives.
without crying.
Yeah.
What is crying then?
Crying is an emotional.
Do you have to have
reaction to
do you
it?
do you have to have sounds going crying? Because you can cry silently.
No, I cry silently. But no, I think crying is more of an emotional thing, whereas tears, there's just tears.
There's a difference between your eyes being watery from something happening.
I'm not crying.
You're
You're crying.
You're crying.
Crying
yeah.
is also just kind of used as a catch-all term for tearing up.
My eyes are just sweating.
No, because if I was tearing up at something, like when I watch Soldiers Coming Home on TikTok, or
Tearing up
Wow.
also just
Wow.
generally
Yeah.
refers
Oh, that
to
gets
your
me.
eyes.
Yeah,
having
that gets
You got
me.
to take it really serious.
Oh, that gets
didn't you?
me.
We're trying to have fun here.
or if
alright?
there's like dogs doing amazing stuff,
You're the one who brought
I
up crying.
tear up.
you cry because it reminds
yeah.
you of
No,
those
just it
puppies
just
gone by.
yeah,
or-
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's just no. I just no. I can't watch it. If a director on
Yeah,
a film,
Dave, I'm not reading that. Go ahead.
if a director on a film set ever said you need to cry, I'd be like, okay, give me a second. I'd pop out TikTok. I'd look at a canine finishing his last duty, and then all of a sudden tears, man.
All right, we're taking a break. Gosh, let's go to break. We come back. I promise we're going to try to talk about. We're going to talk about the end of the world, which is so much better than this.
Hey, I feel fine.
You brought up.
No, you went that way. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Here's the thing.
The longest it ever took me to turn off microphone.
All right, so
Well, it's because you were emotional.
So let's come back with round table.
You weren't lethal.
What?
No crying. No crying.
What, are you crying?
Bro got defensive.
By the way, the "were you crying" thing was just an offhand.
No,
there was
I know.
there was no intent behind it. Sometimes I say
He
stuff.
took it personally,
Yeah, he
bro.
did, and then we had to keep. We had to go with it.
No, here's the thing. Dad was talking about an involuntary action, and then Odie got sad.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about,
Odie, you are the one who took it that
because I was
direction.
also curious if you can throw up without crying. That's
I can throw up without my eyes watering.
I think I did too. Like,
Sometimes.
last time I was throwing up. I ended up in the hospital staring at that stupid picture, thinking I was going
see
to die.
that was a different thing.
yeah, it just I mean,
We're not going to talk
and that,
about.
that turned into dry retching, which you cannot do without.
Let's not talk about the lonely
Crying.
park bench.
Yes, stupid picture, man. I never gonna go back.
The
to that
first thing I
place.
thought of when I walked in is like, why would they have that
Yeah,
there?
it was and right where that's it.
Yes.
TV didn't work. All I could look is that picture with the dead leaves in winter, and a bench all by itself. It's like I'm gonna die.
Have a
And this is the
painting of a
picture.
park or
Yeah, and I
something, for
really,
God's
I
sake.
mean, I could not hold anything down and was kind of dying. They were feeding me intravenously, and I'm looking at that going. So is this how they help you along your way? Just by saying, this is what you leave behind when you die. Thank you. What person when coming to we need some artwork in this room. I know what. An empty park bench with dead leaves.
Yes.
Why do so many?
With no one around.
Yes.
Have like a painting of a fair or something with people dancing.
Did you
or
just
crap.
comment on
Yeah,
something?
but it's like, why does it comment 7 times?
Yeah, it also commented with me too.
You know why? Because we're on 7 different things.
Oh, okay. Well then.
So if you comment as Upstate Pulse, it's going to go onto everyone's page.
Okay, comments on everything then,
Yes.
and it is an awesome tune.
What's an awesome tune? And we had to go all the way back.
The end of the world by U2.
Yeah, but we were talking about the end of the world as you know it
I feel fine.
from
I already did the
REM.
joke.
Well, that's
I-
great. It
I
starts with an
prefer
earthquake,
this is the
birds and planes
end.
and airplanes.
My faithful friend, the end.
The end.
You know why it's faithful? Because it always comes. I just
Oh,
wanna have a
what?
brain
How
fart
did I
there.
do?
What's that supposed to mean? OD?
What you doing, OD?
Fixing a mess up.
Man, we drove Matthew out of the room.
Well, we talked about crying and stuff like that, and
No, Odie did.
How did I?
I just talked about I mean, you went on morbid.
He's got out of the room one time.
You talk about dogs dying and soldiers and stuff. What are you
That's what
doing?
makes me cry.
okay. Yes, but we were talking. You went down. You decided to go down the hole.
Listen, my arse has been exploding for the entire day.
You would think
There's
that
no-
would make you on fire, not want to cry.
And it
Don't get
burns,
sad,
Burns,
get angry.
burns, the ring of fire.
But did all the rage go out there too?
I've been trying not to make you laugh too much because if I do, there may be
I'm
something.
empty.
Are you?
Are
Okay.
you sure?
hope I am. I
Okay.
hope I'm empty.
Just
Hopefully
there
you don't
might be
find
just a
out.
little left, and we got a half hour left in the show. I'd rather not have to.
The trash can right there.
Yeah. Okay. Also
I
resting.
don't think it's
that
big
way.
enough.
How quick can you jump on the buttons?
Well, if we're not in the middle of a break, I'll just switch
I-
mics.
I think we'll be good enough.
It's like don't mind owning.
All right, before we get to the roundtable, we started the show off with this. If you have a Southern rock band, I do have a cowboy hat, and if you just want somebody for your cover photo, I look really Southern rock band today. The hair is just perfect. I'm wearing black. I could throw my black hat on. We're ready to go. There will be some residuals that we'll have to discuss. Have my people talk to your people, but I am willing to be on your album cover.
And if you need generic white guy, I fit the bill.
There we go. Uh-oh. See, we tried to be careful with that. We legitimately have. And that, you're letting yourself go a little bit.
Whew.
You have to do the opposite of the crying thing.
All right, let me
thank
hold it.
goodness.
Let
The
me just-
gates they might be opening soon.
Yeah, don't
And if you
do
need
that.
a whittle baby, quay baby, we got one right over here.
There
too.
we go.
Let me
Yeah.
just pucker right. Listen, I am
Stop.
not afraid to fry.
Stop.
Fry. I'm not afraid
I'm
to
not
fry.
afraid to fry.
All right.
Fry anything.
Eggs.
CES is going on right now, and we didn't get a chance to ask Matthew to look at it, but Cameron and Odie and I looked at someone. I'm gonna loosely call her someone named Aria, and Aria is a brand new robot, and she looks pretty real. I mean, not as real as some other robots, but good enough. And she was labeled as, let's see if it says, but I think I remember labeled as a social and pleasure robot. I think that's what it was. Wasn't
Sex bots.
No,
No,
it didn't.
that's
say,
it. That's
didn't
it.
say that. It said
That's-
pleasure robot.
That
It's
is what
implied,
it is.
though.
That is what it
It-
is. We're not going to sugarcoat. There's no sugar, no coats, no sugar, nothing. That
No
is
sugar
exactly-
tonight?
No.
Daggum Hobots.
Well, maybe they're no.
No, real Botox, botics. That's what. Yeah, not what
Yeah.
you said. Those are people who made it. So
What did I
A
say?
real bodice,
No,
robot.
because
yeah,
see,
yeah.
the counter is going back up again.
yes. So here's the thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I am curious, although Odie and I did see one, but for the most part, if they are trying to say these robots are just, for customer service and to help the world, why do they make them look like that? We only saw one ugly robot.
Yep.
We only saw one ugly robot.
It's the hands, man.
Yeah, well, but
Massive hands.
yeah, but still, she was like an older lady, but she was fashioned after someone.
Oh, yeah.
The rest of them either look like geisha or someone from an anime,
Mhm.
or this girl,
Yeah.
who might be on the street corner somewhere. I'm just saying. And
No, not
Also, when
necessarily
they
a
use
corner.
the terminology of companionship,
yes,
or you know exactly what they're selling,
yes,
and you know exactly the market they're selling it to, and it's just a little bit
well,
kind of like.
and here's the problem
seriously.
though. Who they're selling it to are rich people, because for the full robot, which can't walk yet.
Robot.
Yes, the full robot, which cannot walk yet, but we have a feeling can do other things because she's a pleasure robot. 150,000. There's some lonely people out there.
Some rich, lonely
Rich, lonely people out there. Rich, ugly, lonely people out there. But rich people who are so ugly that they can't get gold diggers.
Not even the gold diggers.
Yes. They're out there who goes 150,000. I got that. Here's the thing. So Arya, you can change faceplates. So you can put a different faceplate on her and change her hair. And eventually it will change her character.
And would you think that they could, just for argument's sake, say old rich ugly Jim down in the corner, right? Because that's old rich ugly Jim, and he had
Jimmy, it's who you go to borrow some money from.
He had a college sweetheart.
Yeah,
and she was beautiful, but she didn't love him because, well, he was young, rich, ugly Jim at the time,
and he said he would never do it again.
Yeah,
okay,
and then he like got old photographs of her and gave them to the guy making the love robot, and just kind of like,
no, you can do that with the Japanese ones. So and here's the thing,
that's just creepy
on so many levels.
All right, so we were talking about this a little bit off the air, and Odie said in the next 50 years he thinks it will be what it almost is now. It ain't gonna take 50. It's not gonna take 50. In the next decade, there will be robot companions that you can have at your house.
A lot of very messed up scientists are really going to put a lot of work into this.
The thing is, though, they're not messed up.
All right, so what they're doing
from back in the day, everything, like every new element, I'm just saying elements because you're wearing a periodic table.
It's super villains.
Yeah, I know. But every element, I've talked to doctors about this, and every element they've either, like back in the day, they've tried to eat it, they've tried to set it on fire, or they've tried to cook it.
The elements?
Whatever element, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And
scientists are just crazy.
Yeah, they're nuts. That's why crazy scientists like Mercury.
So you were talking to someone who was Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
A good Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's important that we understand if we can break, eat, or set on fire are different things. I think those are three very important things.
I gotta agree with
do it
him.
all at once.
See, I think scientists were the original Holma beer. You know, I think.
Oh, for
I
sure.
think they were. I think they were.
Sure. And in sci-fi, we've talked about this before, and a lot of people have talked about sci-fi is the catalyst in a lot of ways to get these people go.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw that in a movie. Can I do that? And then they do.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, AI is young. It's in its infancy.
Oh yeah.
When it reaches a certain point where you can't tell the difference, and they put that in the robot, and they develop the one thing that they can't do yet, supposedly, is make the robot walk like a real girl. Once they make the robot walk like, for the most part, people who want a pleasure robot, they don't care if they can walk or not. But if you go home,
I think they prefer them stationary.
Actually, there's a movie out.
I've not done that.
There's a movie out right now, and I haven't seen the movie, but I saw like a clip of it with Megan Fox.
That is a good movie.
Is a robot.
That is a good movie.
Who is having an affair with okay.
Yeah.
Eventually, they're going to not only look like Megan Fox, but they're going to be like that robot. And there are scientists, they want this to happen. And they are working really hard. A lot of them are. And what they're going to do, and even when we were looking at the video of Arya, she said she wanted to talk to, she was interested in this other robot.
In talking to other robots.
And the other robot is better at walking. So all it's going to take is all these guys getting together and go, you know what? Let's put our minds together and make the perfect one.
Like, I've been talking to guys that have worked for Boston Scientific, and some of the stuff and some of the videos they've sent me are like, that is incredible. Like the walking is nearly down. I mean, they have it now where they can seamlessly walk. They can stand. The robot dogs that have some people. I've watched people looking at the robot dog that Scientific or Boston Scientific make, and like, oh, that's a terrible thing. But I was like, do you know how long it takes to get something like that to move like that? And but anyway, that's
all right. It's
been very complicated.
It's been there are a lot of studies that say that people of a certain generation now, they don't care about getting married, they don't care about doing anything else, they only care about them. So and that's fine. I mean, if you're like that and that's your choice, will this eventually be will you go over to someone's house and go, hey, buddy, who's that? And Buddy, because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
his name.
Yeah.
His name is Buddy.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. He's from
Buddy the guy.
yeah. The Buddy's from
Hey, I'm not your guy, buddy.
Buddy's
Not your
from
buddy, pal.
I'm not your pal, friend.
Buddy's
Your
from
friend, buddy.
he's from Clinton, and I'm not gonna say Clinton because I have my teeth.
Clinton.
He's Buddy from Clinton. You go over to visit him. He's like, "Come on over for dinner," and there she is.
What's her
Do
name?
you judge
What's her name?
Felicity? Do you judge Buddy? Who? Well, she's French. Do you judge Buddy?
No,
for having Felicity.
No,
I know
he's
it's not a
French.
French name, but he's Buddy from Clinton.
Yeah.
He doesn't know that
No.
Felicity is not a French name. Do you judge Buddy if you go over there and this is a girl?
Well,
I mean, she's a robot. She's helping with all the chores and everything
Yeah.
else. All the chores.
Yes.
Is it immoral
No.
for someone who's lonely
Yeah. No.
to find something like this to be attached to?
No, not even slightly.
It's
Now,
not
you know what?
immoral, It's just weird.
And it's kind of unhealthy.
But here,
How is it?
it's because you can't form a legitimate relationship. You definitely can't procreate unless you're a scientist.
What?
You can't. I mean, there's just a lot of things that you can't do.
Because human beings are built to be social creatures.
It's not about being able to procreate or not. That's a very surface level look at a relationship. But it is about
Well, one thing that humans can do is give life to other humans.
Yeah.
So a human and a robot cannot give life to another human. And there is a part of you, not in everybody, but there's a part in a lot of people where that's one of their goals in life is to have a child. You can't do that unless you adopt if you have it. And here's the other thing. If it gets to a certain point.
Well, what about people that are incapable?
No,
of
I agree.
procreating?
That's what I was getting to. So, but there's also a possibility that someone like that who cannot, they're sterile or,
Yeah.
there's a problem where they cannot have children. And will it become, I know it would be possible to marry your robot eventually because I think it's already happened in Japan.
Yeah.
And we watched the thing and we had talked about it before where one of the robots is actually a citizen of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So if you can be a citizen, you can get married. And if you can marry your robot, eventually you'll be able to adopt.
If somebody wants to have that kind of robot in their house.
But
are
here's
they-
the
are they
thing.
gonna do- are
Here's
they-
the thing. If
are
you
they-
adopt, you've got the perfect babysitter.
Yes, you do.
I mean,
Never going to get tired.
it doesn't sleep. You can sleep when the baby's crying.
Mhm.
The Felicity can take care of it.
Well, then it doesn't necessarily, it could just be a house robot. It could
Yeah,
just be
that's
like
kind of what I'm saying.
If
is
it
I'm
was
like,
just a
that's
butler-
great.
Right,
Yeah, but a
that's
house
fine.
robot that fulfills every need,
sorry, hold on.
including going to the grocery store or picking up the kids instead of the bus. Yeah. Dave says, "Where do I sign up?" You got $150,000. You can get in on the early right now.
I can just imagine it's going to be something like this.
Do you need services in your house? You can buy our robot now. Just call 1-800-SERVICE.
Wow.
Have your robot delivered straight
Wow.
away. Our lifelike robots can do anything you need within the household. That is 1-800-SERVICE bot.
They do
We're
want-
here to provide services for you. Where was my music?
So the other part about this, so if it gets to a point where we're already, I mean, there are certain areas.
Service bot is not liable for any disfigurement that may be accompanied with with our product.
If you get freaky, it's on you. So
Is that our tagline?
well, absolutely. So eventually the thing is though, if this takes off, and you got a robot in like 1 out of 5 households, then population goes down. There's just a lot of things.
True.
Socializing has already went
Is
down
that a
because
bad
most
thing,
people
though?
are just on social media, which means there's not a lot of
Birth rates are already
face-to-face.
on a decline.
Yeah, right. But this would make it go further, possibly.
Service bot, you don't need one.
What I'm saying is, eventually, the humans die out, the robots take over, and it's exactly what I've been saying all along.
What about the possibility of Terminator pleasure bots? That was the other thing.
Okay.
That was a
You mean- yeah,
possibility for
'cause
me.
then
That's what you're into. I don't.
No,
I
I'm not into that.
I mean,
No,
I'm
sorry.
not
just-
saying specifically you. I'm just saying there are some people out there who would like Arnold in their house.
Hello,
I
I'm
mean,
here. I'm here to service you. I'm going to do it thoroughly.
Okay, well, the pipe's broken out back.
I'm not here for the pipe. I'm here to fix your washing machine.
That's not the pipe I'm here for.
Let's take a break.
Good night, everybody.
When we come back, we're going to hit the lightning round and talk about as many things that are devoid of innuendo as I possibly can come up with. You're listening to the Upstate Pulse right here on News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas, at least for one more week, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that segment was funny.
I do believe someone here is broken.
I can't believe my stupid line broke you that
It
much.
was good.
You're-
I knew. It's just like, oh,
Man.
you almost got it there, and then you hit the.
Your
spot
mom's
you
going to
wanted
have a
do.
talk with you, probably.
Ah, good point. That's bad. She doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, she probably does. She's commented several times today.
Never. Well, she was talking about how you got me earlier.
I always get you.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah,
I get you.
Thank you.
man.
not in that way.
I love how you're trying to have like a legitimate conversation about this, and we're just yeah,
By
The
way-
degenerate side of the.
service spot.
By the way, that's what a straight man does.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And you are indeed the straight man.
Oh, I need to poop.
Wow. Sorry about that stream.
That's probably like the tamest way Odie could have put that.
Whew. I like how I literally can't relate to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Sorry, bro.
Oh, man.
Sorry, bro.
Bro, that's like tragic.
There-
Oh boy, I just got a text.
You know, my phone's down. I'm curious.
She told me to tell you to look at your phone. She also knows that some comments don't belong on stream.
Yeah, those ones were dumped from the radio.
Yeah, well, no.
Yeah, they
She
were.
doesn't say that kind of stuff. But here's the thing: is she smart enough to know that everyone could see that this was a lot more personal? I'm sure. I don't know what she said.
I know what he said.
I'm sure you deserved everything that she said to you.
No, delighted for you.
It was very simple.
You
Of
don't need to. You can leave it right where it is.
yeah,
We've moved on.
have we?
Yeah. As a producer, we're moving on.
We
I don't
know.
I don't know if my mother is watching this this episode, but I haven't gotten a message. So
Have you ever, other than the music stuff, have you ever said something that she was like,
no.
"Come on, what are you doing?"
Well, Matthew, glad your
Have you-
mom's not watching.
You ever got a text from Lee going, "That's too far"?
Too far, man.
everyone?
No,
everyone,
but I mean I've gotten messages about like if I didn't cover something specifically before, like when we've had a breaking news story. and
I'm
I
just talking about on here because it's
Yeah.
misrepresenting the
On
news
here.
department. You have to go that way.
But we don't mention the news to Matthew apart from when we call him the news.
Sure we
guy-
do.
The
I
news
ask
guy,
him.
Matthew.
I ask his opinion on news stories all the time.
Yeah.
Everything we're talking about, just about our news stories.
It's all news stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a new station.
Apart from
after.
the Terminator, that's not a news story.
The robots are.
It was a potential
yeah.
news story,
Yeah.
though.
Well,
If you want a girl bot in your house, some people want guy bots. I mean, that's how it
true.
works.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Have the right tool for the job.
The thing is, you don't see any guy bots being made yet, but once the girl
But
bots,
they probably are.
there's a certain clientele that probably got a better shot.
But
of
then
buying.
I've talked about it at many lengths. No, I'm not going to talk about it in a stream.
censored himself.
Yeah, I censored myself.
Some restraint.
Once
Odie.
you,
All right.
hey man, pull your. Once you go censor yourself.
Yeah.
All right, W has spoken, which means it's time to squeeze in as many stories as we possibly can in the last few minutes of the show. There was a major topic that I wanted to ask, and I forgot all about it. in Nerd Roundtable. But I'm gonna go ahead and ask it now, Matthew. I'm gonna ask you first.
Okay.
Because you are first and foremost an expert in all things, just all things. Odie's expert in anything European, but you're just an expert in all things.
Okay.
In The Wizard of Oz,
Expert in Europe. Poop.
in The Wizard of Oz, the trees, are they ints?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
I asked Matthew.
Yeah, but it touched the nerve. Nerve was touched.
They would probably be able to fit into the classification. Yeah.
I mean, they're a walking, talking tree. They have arms and stuff, and they can throw things. So
Yeah, they're ints.
I'd also classify them as ents.
I mean, they're smaller ints, but they're ints.
baby ints.
All right, so here's
don't want to talk about our cousins.
Yeah, here's the
jerks.
this is a weird thing that happens to me sometimes, and it's those kind of questions just pop in my head. Were they ants? And why did I think about that before? And has anyone else asked that question?
They're shower
Probably.
thoughts.
I don't know. The what?
They're shower thoughts.
Shower what?
Shower
Thoughts.
thoughts.
Shower
thoughts.
You eat
Yeah.
tater tots in the
it's-
shower?
It's like shower tots. What is that?
Here's where you get tater tot and you eat it in the shower.
Don't
They're
you
a little
disparage
soggy, but
tater
they're pretty
tots.
all right.
A little bit soggy, but tater tot.
What if they're crispy when they first go in there? It takes them a little more time to.
It would, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay, then shower.
Depends on how
Hold
quickly you
on.
scarf them down.
Pardon.
Work on your
my
enunciation, mister.
enunciations. Shower thoughts.
Thank you.
Tots.
Because shower tots got it got all of us. I think. Like, what the heck is a shower tot? So anyway, I'm glad you guys agree with me. Does anybody else agree with me and us? Should I say
Ints.
that those ints are those trees are ints? All right, Fallout Season 2 was in the middle of filming. The first season really good, but
Yeah.
because of the California fires, it and several other shows are being postponed.
Okay.
So
Makes sense. They don't want to get burned.
they can't film that right now, and
Well, I mean, if they're looking for a wasteland,
yeah, it's I did not want to go there,
Yeah.
but they can.
Mad Max is going to have some good filming.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
just too soon. It's still
Guys,
going
come
on. It's going on, people. I mean, some people have died and stuff. But as far as landscape changing, it has changed.
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
you probably, especially with a show like Fallout, maybe jump outside the lot
Yeah.
and just going down the road a
It's
little
too
bit.
soon, man.
Yeah,
Too soon.
More
Too
filming
soon.
locations.
maybe.
I can't believe you would say that.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you went
That's so
there.
hard.
We're the
Heartless.
worst.
You know
Wow.
that. You know what that reminds me of. Yeah, seriously, what that reminds me of.
Don't you dare.
If you're going to the shower and you want to bring something to the shower with you, why not bring shower tots? They're crispy until they get wet.
Who's clapping right now?
That's strangely appropriate
What's
music
clapping
for that
right now?
commercial. All right, Assassin's Creed Shadows was supposed to come out. They delayed it again.
Why?
So when a game has been delayed this many times, is it truly because they say they want to get it just right? Do you believe something's wrong with the game, Matthew?
No, it's well,
I have there's any number of reasons there could be for it being delayed. I think it's because it's probably just they're not hitting what they want to hit with it, and so they keep delaying it because it's taking
They're-
too long.
Their initial release date, according to the story, was November 12th, 2024.
It was
So
supposed
last
to be
year,
a birthday gift.
It's not really that
That's
far
not that far of a
away,
delay, yeah.
but they're moving it again to March.
That sounds pretty normal.
I
for
like
a
these
big
games, but
AAA
I'm
game
not
that's
so sure about
super
that.
slow.
All right, a former Bethesda dev. You know what a dev is?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Says players are tired of massive games. Is this true?
No.
Cameron,
Yes.
No.
are you tired of massive games? Games that, and what they're not just talking about open world games, they're talking about games that take you 100 gameplay hours to complete.
No, I'm not tired of that. As long as here's the thing, it's difference of if you have enough good content within a certain amount of area, then you're fine.
Well,
If it's empty wastelands and stuff, then yeah.
as a person who's in the top 1% in the world
Okay.
of playing Starfield,
That was the whole reason why you
yeah,
set this
no.
up.
Obviously, it's
It's a peer review. You have enough
Yeah,
experience. with
yes.
it.
So Odie,
Yeah.
do you like massive games or do you like games that you can finish in 30 hours or less?
Well, a 30-hour game to me is pretty massive. I don't put in the game time. I don't put in as much. But yeah, I think a game like Fallout, the first Fallout or the second Fallout 2, I finished that. Well, I didn't finish it, but I'd done all of the storyline, and I remember going back into it and doing the storyline again. And it was the same with New Vegas. I went back into the storyline again. I was like, that could have been longer. I know it was a really long game, but yeah. So I think long games. Yeah, I'm good with them.
Matthew,
I
I
would
know you already said
say
it, but
a mix of yes and no, more so on the yes side because I think that I love games like Elden Ring and Baldur's Gate 3 that are massive and have a lot to that. But I think there's a lot of modern AAA games that are massive on a surface level and just don't actually have anything to it. It's just a lot of busy work feeling.
There needs to be more depth.
It
is what
needs
you're
needs more depth, and there needs to be an actual reason to do all of that.
So are you
content.
okay with and you and I have talked about this before, but for other people who haven't heard this, are you okay? Do you think mods, if mods are added to that game and they add like hundreds of hours of playtime, especially when people are adding, DLC sized mods
yeah.
to it.
I think those are awesome.
It
I'm
makes
not
the
going
game
to ever rate
yeah.
mods and the original,
game
are
okay.
completely separate in a sense of like what I would rate the game itself. But I think a good modding scene in a game is great to have.
All right. So Chris Evans and I have had this argument many times, and he says if the game isn't good enough when the original creators create it, that it has to be modded, then the game wasn't good. And I'm paraphrasing. That's basically what he says.
I think there's certainly plenty of games that have modding scenes that fix issues, especially Bethesda games. And I think that is a potential tick against Bethesda
But
games.
I think they
but
know
it's not
that.
a tick because of the mods. It's a tick because the original problem is already there. And the mods are just the solution with no credit to the original developers, Bethesda developers. Sole credit for those fixes going to the mod developers.
So when games are being made, do they do the same thing as films? Do they pull 100 random people off the street to watch a film? Do they do that with games?
Well, it's called beta testing or alpha testing.
There's beta testing and stuff like that.
So
and there's
they do
people that their entire profession is that.
Okay.
And it's
and they have
not
QA testers like you said.
quality assurance and stuff
Yeah.
But
like
they
that.
try to break
Their
the game.
entire goal is to break the game.
Yeah, and then they open it to a certain amount of the public to also see if they can break the
to
game.
get a
And
more
then
layman's
someone rams a sports
perspective.
car into a garage.
Here's the thing:
I like
if
sports
you're
games.
beta testing, I'm trying to break the game, so I'm
Yeah.
doing the most stupid things, even though it bothers people I'm playing with.
you
to
know,
try
break
to break
the game. Sure, don't break the objective. We were supposed to take that car.
It was an amazing ball of fire. That's all I'm saying. and we
I took out 50 people for nothing.
Yeah, you did. Odie's boy, Colin Farrell, won a Golden Globe.
Yeah, he did. And he had a great speech.
He won a Golden Globe for The Penguin. By the way, watched an actual mobster who used to be in a mob family review The Penguin and said, "This is a guy nobody should have anything to do with,
Yes.
and it's not realistic how bad he is." That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point. There's a Dungeons and Dragons pinball machine coming out with a bunch of voice actors on it. It costs $7,000. Would you
Less than
buy
I
a
would have
seven?
expected.
If you had the money, would you buy a $7,000 pinball machine, Matthew?
No, just not my thing.
All right, and our condolences to Dale Wilson, the voice of Cell. He has passed away. It was also
From the
voice,
Ocean dub, yeah.
It was the voice of Kami, King Yama, Gaz, and Android 8. All right, you are listening to the Upstate Pulse. We want to thank you for tuning in, and stay safe and watch out for black ice. Black ice. Did you turn me off?
I did cut you off.
I know you turned me off. You should have left me on.
I should have, but it
I was
was
trying to clarify. Black ice.
You did say black ice.
No,
It's
but
black
it's
ice.
it kind of.
No, it's not like
I didn't.
black
It
I
sounded
didn't. want-
exactly like black ice.
Yeah, that's.
Remind me
I want
to
to make
show-
sure that people didn't think that's what I
You
said.
want me to pop your
It's a
pot-
black
pot-
ice.
you want
No,
me to stick your
no,
pot up again?
no, not during
Over
the news.
News.
No, no.
Black ice.
No. See, that's what you said. That's not what I said.
Remind me to show you
Black
guys.
ice.
So I said black ice.
Remind me to show
Right.
you guys a Key and Peele skit.
All right,
That tackles that.
Odie, say goodbye.
Slán Amalia.
Matthew, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Cameron, say whatever.
Whatever. Goodbye.
That's
I'll
Odie.
see you again. Until the next time we meet.
See you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Sunday nights with Odie Fitzgerald. Yeah.
Yeah, you forgot to plug your show. I can't. I mean, it's not my
Gotta
job
plug
to
it,
do
man.
it. Plug. You got to
You've
plug.
been plugging all day.
gotta plug.
How could you not plug a little bit more?
Unfortunately, that's the problem.
Hey, there's a service bot for that now.
Unfortunately, we've reached the end of our time together. Goodbye.